Hi everyone, I'm back. So a little bit of delay between the last video and this one. So a lot of that had to do with kind of a scheduling thing and I just didn't have the time to put a video together. But I'm trying a little bit of a different setup here. I'm just going to see kind of how it looks like and see if it works. If it's not really working, then I'm going to go back to the other video style with the other camera. But for now, we're going to try this out. First of all, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone and anyone who watched the Blu Ray collection video. I got some really great feedback on that. People seem to enjoy it, and I'm very happy to hear that. For any of you who stuck it out for basically me talking for 30 minutes about that collection, thanks very much. And this is probably gonna be up your alley today because this pickups video is gonna be about media-related things. So mostly that's gonna be movies that I've added to that collection since I shot that video, and then maybe a little music stuff at the end. So if you want to see a video game pickup video, I will be shooting another one of those pretty soon. If not tonight, then it'll be in the next day or two. So thanks very much for watching the video. If you want to see the games pickup video and you don't want to catch any of the movie stuff, I'll release you, go ahead. And the next video should be more to your liking. But if you are interested in the movie stuff, then that's what this is going to be about. So first of all, as pertains to the movies and the Blu Ray collection specifically, I did pick up a couple of more of those box sets that I really enjoy to fill in some ones that I had been missing in my collection. So the first one is the RoboCop trilogy. And I'm getting the camera and everything else. All right. So the trilogy collection is basically the first three RoboCop movies, the original ones, not the new remake, which I actually had, but I didn't have the original. So picking up the originals, I was able to get that at Walmart for $15. So the first three movies for $15, always a good thing. That works. So the second is another trilogy I wanted to get my hands on. So to go with my other action movies, I got to have the Bourne trilogy. So Bourne Identity, Bourne Supremacy, and Bourne Ultimatum. Good stuff. I'm a big fan of this series, and I'm glad. I believe that Matt Damon is going to be getting back playing Jason Bourne again, which should be pretty good. I'll be happy to see some of that. Next is some single Blu Ray pickups here. The Debt, so starring Helen Mirren. So I kind of liked her in Red, and I'm kind of interested to see when she's doing kind of an action movie that's a little bit more more straight-laced rather than as strictly a comedy. So for Red and Red 2. It's supposed to be like a spy thriller, so I'm curious. The price was right on this one, definitely, so I thought I'd check that out. From Paris with Love with John Travolta. I actually got a chance to see this movie a while ago. I enjoyed it for what it is. If you don't take it too seriously, I think it was kind of a fun movie. And what was great is that this one I picked up at a store here in Toronto, and it was supposed to be a used copy, but I don't know if you can make that out. Let me try it that way. I don't know if you can make that out, but it still seems to be sealed to me. So getting that for the used price as a new copy, that's okay. J. Edgar. Leonardo DiCaprio. So this one, more than anything, Clint Eastwood was directing it. And I do like history movies because I was a history major in university, so I am interested in kind of that. So I like to see how it's depicted on film. One of the courses I enjoyed the most in university was where they did history on film. So something like this would be up my alley, just to kind of check out their interpretation of the historical character that was J. Edgar Hoover. The Fighter. I have not seen this one. I think this one's based on the life of, Mickey Ward, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yep, Mickey Ward. Perfect. I am familiar with Mickey Ward. I remember the film originally being promoted, but I never got a chance to see any of it, so $2.99. Sure, I'll check it out. Brawler. Much the same line. This one right here is just another, kind of an inexpensive fighting action movie, so I'll check it out. Why not? Armored. Again, along the lines of, the inexpensive action fodder that kind of fills in a good chunk of my collection. A lot of these movies are kind of just fun to watch, and, they're basically good popcorn flicks. And this one here was one that I wanted to pick up for a while. It's from the director of Pi. A movie which I also want to get my hands on, Requiem for a Dream. Now, I haven't watched this one in a while, but I just remember it being kind of really interesting. It was kind of a striking visual style, and basically it was a little different than a lot of the stuff that I've been watching, and I got a kick out of that. So those are the newest additions to the Blu Ray collection to go along with what I had already previously. And then right at the end here, I'm just going to cover a couple of little music-related pickups. I have picked up a bunch of different CDs, but I'm not going to talk about that too much because most of the time the CDs I pick up are just to have an inexpensive way of creating MP3s for my iPod, just because a lot of used CDs, you can get them really inexpensively. Very rarely will I go out of my way to buy one. unless it's something along the lines of this. So Smashing Pumpkins, the Aeroplane Flies High box set. So this one I got kind of inexpensively, but I thought it was really cool. I've been listening to a lot of Smashing Pumpkins lately, and this box set was actually kind of neat looking. And I like what it seems to have here. Let's see if I can get that in focus for you. So if you're familiar with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, so I actually lost track of my train of thought there for a moment. A little bit of fatigue kicking in, but anyway, what I wanted to say was that if you're familiar with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins, this was released right around in relation to songs of that era. A lot of the CDs contain singles from that album, but also it contains this 44-page booklet with pictures and things related to what they were working on at the time, what they were thinking about. It's kind of a cool little set. It's try not to look at the monitor instead of the camera. It's a cool little set, and I always like little value like this, and it's kind of a good, nice little complete package because it contains, the nice box. It's got the lovely handle, which I can't see why you would want to carry it like this, but I guess you could. But it's kind of a neat thing to put together. So that was one big thing. The only CD that I added to my collection specifically that I will talk about is this one, just because I picked it up strictly for the title, which gave me a kick. Music for Insomniacs by Matt Berry. Now, this one I actually haven't listened to it yet. I've ripped out the MP3s already. I'm going to listen to it on the iPod a little bit later. I don't know if it's actually meant to be songs to help you fall asleep or not, but I know that it's 2 tracks on it that are at least 22 and a half minutes long. So interesting. I'm kind of curious. When I saw it in the store, it kind of spoke to me because I actually do have a little bit of insomnia all the time, and that's part of the reason I was so tired. So for the last part of the pickups, I just want to show off a couple of items that are like the beginning of a little bit of a vinyl collection. I haven't traditionally had any. I never really owned any before, but I've always liked them. I've been interested in the cover art and everything. That's the big draw for me. I'm going to get my hands on a little bit of a turntable, something relatively inexpensive, just so I can listen to some of them. I do like, though, that a lot of the labels are starting to release them with digital download codes, which is extremely helpful so that I don't have to get the CD on top of having the vinyl. But it's just something that lets me listen to music in a different way. So the first one that I have for that is another Smashing Pumpkins one, Monuments to an Elegy. So I actually do have the CD version of this with the exact same art. Looks kind of cool though. But this one, like I said, did come with a digital download code, so if I had known that, I wouldn't have bought the CD beforehand because I could have just bought this and gotten it. But I picked it up from a store here in Toronto where I picked up some of my other things. They Might Be Giants, Idlewild. So this one here is not so much a greatest hits collection, but it's a compilation of songs put together by the band that they chose. It's a nice little package, and it shows kind of the songs there. Side 1 and Side 2. And again, very similar to the Smashing Pumpkins one, it came with a digital download code, which is great. I didn't have the CD for that, but now I do have all the digital downloads. And once I do have a turntable, then I can play this as well. This next one I got because I've started to get into the band a little bit, but also because I love the cover art on this. So Crack the Sky from Mastodon, and you can see the back there. So this one I did have the CD for. The cover art is the same on the CD, but obviously this is on a much larger scale, and you really do get a sense of like the overall imaging. It looked really colorful. I very much like what they did with the cover on that. And then lastly was one that I saw that was not very expensive, but the real reason I picked up it, I have never heard of the band. I've never listened to any of their music, but the cover made me laugh, and then the price was low enough that I could pick it up just kind of for fun. And anyone who would see this in my collection would ask the question, why? So there's some stuff going on this album cover, and I really can't explain any of it. What was funny for me was that the band's name is Why, not the album. The album is actually Sod in the Seed, so this is an EP, and Sod in the Seed is the first one. And there's some more stuff going on back here. I really don't know anything about the band. I'm not too familiar with the genre they're part of, but that cover alone, it drew me to pick it up. if it's inexpensive enough, I don't see any reason why not. I'm just going to pick them up here and there. It's not going to be anything too crazy or too serious. I'll probably put some of them behind me occasionally just for fun. So that's it for my non-video game related pickups. As I said before, if you are interested in that, that'll be in the next upcoming video. But for now, if you made it to the end here, thanks again for watching, and like, subscribe, and comment.